I'm not entirely sure how I follow Demetrius on this because he has this vibe, but 안녕하세요. Hi, everyone. I'm Den. I'm one of the lead maintainers of MCP. Who here has not heard about MCP? Okay, that makes me feel a little better. My heart was racing coming on stage. Like, I wonder how many people here don't actually know about MCP. But I'm one of the maintainers of the MCP protocol. I work closely with David Sarapara, DSP, who co-invented this. And as Demetrius said, I'm also working on Claude Code at Anthropic. So before today, actually, like when they asked me where do I want to deliver the keynote, Seoul was #1 on my list. I was like, at the moment I saw this, like I want to go to Seoul, this for sure. But as I did that, I started thinking, what exactly do I want to talk about at this event? Because I did not want to disappoint anybody. I could talk about something technical, I could talk about the new spec that we released, but I thought like that could be a little boring for a keynote. So instead, I decided to talk about the 2 years of MCP. So it's hard to kind of imagine that just 2 years ago, MCP did not exist, right? If we look at this very important date, this is when Model Context Protocol was first released, first announced by Anthropic. And at the time, I don't think a lot of people recognize just kind of how important this change would be. Now, I titled this entire presentation 2 years of MCP, but if you do the math, you're kind of like, hold on, Dan, like November is not quite 2 years, so you're absolutely right. We're right now on day 625 of MCP's existence. So 625 days ago, you had to build everything by yourself, an entirely bespoke solution. If you wanted to have your LLM connect to any data or application, you'd have to write a bunch of custom code, but not anymore. However, MCP is such a project that it's actually never done. It's never complete. And nothing better encapsulates that than what DSP mentioned when he actually announced the protocol in Hacker News in 2024. And he basically said that we have a long way to go and much ground to cover. And he was, again, of course, absolutely right. Because MCP grew quite a bit from what it was first launched as. Now, if we kind of go back and kind of in time and use our little mental time machine and go like, what was MCP in 2024? It was actually fairly, I said, like, not bare bones, but fairly basic for what it actually solved, right? We had the specification, which is nothing other than a document that tells you how to work with MCP. There were 2 transports. There is STDIO, or standard input-output for local MCP servers, and there was HTTP and SSE for remote. There were a whopping 2 SDKs that you could use, one for TypeScript, the other one for Python. There were some clients. I distinctly remember using Claude Desktop and just thinking like, wow, this is like magical, which again, in AI years, it's like 2 years ago, it's forever. And we had some reference implementations that allowed developers to kind of go and try out the protocol. So that was 2024. Since then, we had a whopping 5 releases of the specification. Every single one of them driven by community input, by input from folks such as yourselves in this room that made these releases happen. So less than 2 years, 5 releases of the spec. We swapped up a whole bunch of things, right? Like we improved the security, we added OAuth, we added support for client ID metadata documents to make it easier for folks to implement a lot of the OAuth pieces. And just with every single revision, we focused on making the developer experience easier. So we made it a little bit simpler for somebody to come in and build an MCP client, an MCP server, or any of those pieces. In my mind, though, as we kind of think through what exactly was the inflection point when MCP actually picked up traction, when it actually like it clicked with people that they realized like, yes, I want to put more effort in MCP. In my personal opinion, there were about 14 days in 2025. And they align pretty well with the March release, the second release of the MCP spec ever. Let's see how many of you know the names on the slide here. Does it ring a bell? Yeah. So when I saw these people tweet about this, it's like, okay, now we're picking up that traction. Now the industry is getting it. It's not just a community of enthusiasts that realize that MCP is a thing. We actually had people that saw the release of the March spec last year, again, slightly more than a year ago, and said, yes, we're going to put developers, we're going to put effort into that, which was huge. Like these 14 days, I think, were formative in actually convincing the industry that you have to put the backing behind MCP. With that, all of that work since then led us to about 2 weeks ago, when we launched the latest version of the spec, and Demetrius and I were kind of riffing behind the stage, and we're like, yeah, man, we should not call it 2026 or 728. That's too long. It's just MCP 2.0. It is the biggest release of MCP since that original spec that launched in November of 2024. With this spec, we got rid of a whole bunch of cruft, things like sessions the developers no longer need to handle. So if you ever thought, can I deploy an MCP server on AWS Lambda? Well, now you can. Can you put it in Cloudflare workers? Now you can. All of these pieces landed literally weeks ago, and we're seeing so much positive reception for it. And especially for one thing that folks loved across the board is that the new MCP spec actually introduces a vehicle for us to test things quickly and easily, and that is extensions. If you've ever heard about MCP Apps, that's an extension. Tasks, that's an extension. Enterprise Managed Auth, that's an extension. This is a way for us to basically try things out before we put them into the actual specification, so that all of the enterprises, all of the companies that adopt MCP, and by the way, that's actually one of the big changes that happened in the last, I want to say year, since those tweets that I was showing you, is that folks started treating MCP as the substrate for agentic workflows, right? Like it's not just a toy open source project that is out there that somebody's like, oh, it would be kind of neat to build something with MCP. It actually powers a lot of the enterprise workloads. And I don't think I need to convince anybody here that MCP has kind of entrenched itself as the protocol that is now embedded in some of the most known names that you've probably heard about. When I was actually traveling here, my wife and her family are big fans of Cacao, so they're using a lot of that. And apparently there's an MCP server for that. I learned that on the flight here. So it tells you that MCP started embedding itself into a lot of kind of the workflows that are very, very common in day-to-day and not just your biggest enterprises. But not just the companies is that what I want to focus on. I actually thought, I was like, what is the indicator of MCP's growing success and adoption? And for a lot of that, it's not just the adoption in the industry, but also the general adoption in the developer ecosystem and the open source ecosystem. And I wanted to look at this chart here. It shows you kind of the downloads for the only 3 of the SDKs, for Python, TypeScript, and C#. It grew 13 times since the exact same time last year. We're at 500 million downloads a month. Like, it blew my mind when I looked at this chart, because at first when I had kind of Claude dig through a bunch of GitHub data, and I was like, this can't be right. Like, surely there's a mistake. No, it's not. What puts it even more in perspective is the cumulative downloads. If instead of we're looking per month, we're going to look at this kind of the aggregate view, and we're at 3.06 billion downloads total for those 3 SDKs only, by the way. And the acceleration, notice that like last July, we were at 108 million. The whole billion marks were hit this year. 1 billion in March, 2 billion in June, 3 billion in like this August, just like a few days back. 28 times more than July of last year. Like, this is huge. The registry, the open source registry where folks can come in and just list their MCP servers to make it easily discoverable for anybody, is at more than 20,000 entries, 45 times more than what we launched in September. This can be like a bit of a cheating metric here because we only start in September, but nonetheless, like I have 20,000 MCP servers that are out there for anybody to discover. Not only that, but I was thinking like, okay, but surely if we look at kind of just the general GitHub metrics for developers, there's going to be a different indicator. And Just across the board, we have been growing across the entire spectrum of MCP open source repositories. We're at 184,000 GitHub stars, as vanity metric as that is. I know a lot of folks think like stars don't matter, and sure they don't, but nonetheless, it's an indicator of visibility to me. Across the board, we've been almost doubling for every one of them. The number of unique committers to any of those repositories is more than 2,500 people. 2,500 people contributing to MCP. That includes, all of you here in this room that make it possible. So it certainly is picking up a lot of traction. It certainly is picking up a lot of visibility, and we see that in the developer ecosystem across the board, across enterprises, nonprofits, education, small companies, big companies, you name it. And of course, the number of forks has also been doubling across the board. So we are encouraged by the fact that we see so many folks that want to give back to the community. They want to iterate on SDKs. They want to iterate on the spec itself. Lastly, remember how I mentioned at the very beginning that when the spec first launched, we had 2 SDKs? It was Python and TypeScript. Yeah, we don't have 2 anymore. There's 10. And we have them for every major platform now. So if you're developing with Go, Kotlin, Swift, Rust, we have those SDKs. And what's awesome about them is that for a lot of the work that's being done here, it's actually fully sponsored by companies that are deeply invested in this developer ecosystem. Like the Go SDK is built by folks at Google. The C# SDK, the folks at Microsoft, like Kotlin is JetBrains. So we have this kind of official support. And as this grows, as this entire ecosystem just blooms, which again makes me very, very excited to see how we are kind of picking up the pace here, I also see that the changes that the community is making are also growing month over month. Just last month, we merged across the board 736 pull requests and solved more than 600 issues. And that is only accelerating. This is only going to go up. So all that being said, I think I would be remiss not to mention the fact that all what I just talked about, the growth of MCP, the adoption, the feedback, all that drives it would not be possible without the MCP community, without folks such as yourself, without the companies that you work for, the communities that you represent. So I am incredibly, incredibly grateful for every single one of you for making it here, being at this awesome event, and making MCP what it is today, because it would not be possible without all of you. So thank you, 감사합니다. And if you have any feedback, find me after this. Thank you.